we're live. Let me put this down. I am coming in here on an unplanned, impromptu daily tune-in live. I'm slightly terrified for some reason. I'm not really sure why. So I'm going to start out with a couple of announcements in the hopes that maybe a couple people will jump on here. I don't know. I didn't put any inkling out there that I was going to be doing this. So first of all, we are still in this 90 days. Do you remember how, like, it feels like lifetimes ago, because it really has been, that we started this daily tune in on the 90 days. Hi, Lisa. I hope you saw that we're changing our call to Thursdays. So I'm about to announce that, but I'm excited. I'm getting the sillies and the nervousness out with some announcements. But so we've been in this 90 days, and all of the sudden, I got to the point where I went radio silent and came on here and let y'all know that I was not going to do these live anymore. And that was I think one or two videos back on the channel. Actually, I think it's 3. But all of that to say, so I went radio silent. And in that silence, I became clearer and clearer. At the same time, I was more confused and more confused with what was going on with this 90 days. I am not one to start something and not stay with it and keep up with it. And because I had translated the request or the ask to do this 90 days, I thought it meant to really show up for the daily tune-in for every day for 90 days. But part of this radio silence showed me what was happening in that time. So I'm going to run through kind of a quick broad overview of where we are in this 90 days, what we're getting started here at the beginning of June, how shifts have happened, and how we are going to create shifts moving forward. But first, I want to do a couple of announcements really quickly. The Ascension Bank calls, for anyone that's on the Ascension Bank or who will see this, the member calls are being moved to Thursdays now in June, just because we changed them to Wednesday, and now we're going back to Thursday to accommodate more schedules. So that is happening. There will not be a call today. It just happens to be Wednesday when I'm recording this. So tomorrow will be our call. And the other thing is, tomorrow I hope you can come in to this YouTube channel, because I'm going to give you some more, and we're going to go deeper into this message that we're getting today. And that message will then take us into where we're going with these last 4 weeks of June on the daily tune-in. So let me get started. I did put some notes down here so I can keep myself succinct. And through this nervousness, I am hoping to get to a point where we are all back caught up and back to it with coming together and really being conscientious, really being aware of where we are tuning our thoughts and our feelings in, especially in June. And here's why. When we started this 90 days, remember that we started it in May. Let me just put my notes here. And in May, we were talking about, we started in April. April, that first 30 days was all about setting the consciousness for this next phase in our ascension process. We have navigated in this community, and then many of us and the members of the Ascension Bank, we have talked and we have joined together in conversation for months now, every single week. And what I know about my own personal experience in just following this growth cycle that we are in a massively huge growth cycle in consciousness. We all know it. We've talked about it. As we have risen up, we have now opened up completely new memories of who we are. Our DNA has been upgraded. So this year we have gotten into the phase now where we're starting to step into the physical reality of that 5D frequency being available to us to build the physical reality of the 5D earth, or whatever we want to call it, the new earth. Bless Gaia. We can call it our own lives. We are now in that frequency, and on this in this community, we have done a lot of the healing work. We understand the healing work. We understand what happens when these energies come in and they start to purge out some denser stuff. We are familiar with this process. But remember, we are also pioneers. We've talked about this for months and months on the Daily Tune In. We are also pioneers of this new earth. So we have been pioneering through this ascension process, and we have gotten to the point now where we get it. Many people, including myself, are stepping into the higher levels of emotional well-being, in where we are kind of anchoring into a reality of peace. And now there's many of us who were like, okay, I get that I'm not done. I get that there's going to be more healing work. And I also understand that process, and I welcome it, because I welcome all darkness, knowing that when I sit with it long enough, it will reveal the light. Once I know the light, I can then purge the darkness, I can level up, and I see from a higher perspective. I have a higher level of intelligence because now I have a higher level of perspective in emotional intelligence because I've experienced it. And I also have a higher level of experience logically because, again, I've experienced it and I understand a different way of healing when I have to heal. And at the same time, our soul now is in a higher level of expression. It's more to the surface because we've allowed a lot of those densities to move out. Our soul has been able to move in. Many of us are moving into the higher levels and of the state of awareness at all times in the present moment. We've reached that 0 point baseline where we kind of move through the day aware of whether or not we are in the present moment, or are we projecting into the future or in the past. We are aware of our behavior more, and now it's time to make the next step. Now it's time to step into the next level of existence. So in the month of April, we set the consciousness for what these 90 days were going to be. And the consciousness was all about our plot twist. We looked at the plot twist. We looked at where we were in emotional intelligence. We reviewed how our thoughts, our intentions, plus our feelings were the electromagnetic field that we are going to be reaping. We are going to be attracting all of that resonant energy. So as we set our consciousness on the higher level of existence by tuning into the higher level of our desires, our dreams, our new ideas as they come to us, as our consciousness starts to expand. New ideas are coming to many of us. We're having more and more storehouse moments where life is starting to connect together. We're feeling more expressed. We're feeling more connected than ever in larger pockets of time. So in May was the month that we had to purge the densities. That was the month that in this 3-step process, in this 90-day process, that we really tuned into the emotional intelligence. That means when you set your consciousness, we set our consciousness to the higher expression of our reality in physical form. Therefore, we had to go through, there is that stage then where we have to let go of the densities, the old programs, so that we can start to operate from a higher level of an operating system, a higher level of consciousness, to then resonate at a higher level of physical resonance to match that time, that place and space and time where that higher existence resides. So we got out a lot of the purging of old densities in May. Many of us went quiet. Many people on our Ascension Bank in the first couple of months, weeks of May were saying, I can't hear my guides, can't hear my team. It's radio silence. And so did I had the need in my own I am presence to go radio silent and to close down the effort that I was giving to the daily tune in, so I could go within and sit with the stillness for the last couple of weeks of May. in those last couple of weeks, when I personally experienced that stillness, I found a lot of old school programming that was still stuck around how I formatted the daily tune in. I had a lot of things that I frustrations over the years of things that I've done that hasn't worked, and was bringing some of that into the daily tune in. So I had to sit with, where do I want this to go? What is next for me? And I sat in beautiful sense of receptivity for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks in the silence. It was agonizing because I could not get clarity on where the daily tune-in was going. But what I did get clarity on is, now we move into June, is the physical realization of the fifth dimensional realities that we are creating. We are the pioneers. Therefore, we are going to exit a little bit the conversation of ascension, because that's the healing part. The ascension process is going from being an unaware individual, rising up into awareness levels to where you reach that peak level of peace and bliss in physical form. And at that point, back in the day, Jesus and all the ascended masters, they ascended into the next dimensional reality. We are doing that now in physical form. Therefore, there is a jump up. This is into the next level of physical reality. This is where we create that in the month of June. This is where we come together and we watch this come together in reality. This, the consciousness that we created, the electromagnetic field that was created, if you've been participating in these last 2 months, we are now going to watch as that starts to formulate into mass, into matter, into reality. It's projected from your heart into your reality. And this is the month we turn our focus on the storehouse. We look and we turn our focus on the reality that's coming into, not coming into, the reality that is already here. It's just us tuning into and finding that reality. And so, how we're going to do this is going to be not completely. It's going to be it's going to be a little bit different of a format for the daily tune in moving forward. I will be back live on Monday. But tomorrow I'm going to come back in here and put a video out, because I'm going to give you a little bit more depth on this, where we're going, what's happening, what's going on. But what I did understand is, I had let the daily tune in go, thinking that, well, if I'm not going to do it live every day, then that's probably not what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm just going to sit here and wait for the universe to tell me what I'm supposed to do. And I kept getting messages from people on Instagram and in my email saying, I really miss the daily tune in. And I thought, I do too. I really miss the community aspect. I do too. And then the Ascension Bank was the consciousness around the Ascension Bank wanted to shift as well. I couldn't understand what that was. That clarity came in today, and all of a sudden everything was placed together. And I thought, wow, this is a perfect example of when we turn our attention away and we release something for its highest and best good. If it's meant to be ours, it comes back. The daily tune in is back. It's a little bit different. It's going to be elevated, and it's going to have a new direction, but it's going to be just a subtle shift, but a shift enough that it's going to open up what we can see, meaning it's going to open up what we project from our hearts, from our multidimensional beings in our community out into reality. And that projection is going to be the higher created expression of the 5D earth. We're going to talk about what that looks like tomorrow. But for now, we are back. We are back into the physical part of this 3-month journey. June is going to be a fun month for us to watch and share what we see coming together. But right now, what I've seen is some exciting stuff. I'm inspired as hell. I'm excited to come back together with you all. I'm excited to come back into the Ascension Bank tomorrow. I'm going to be going into even more detail with you all, so that you can hear some of the more mystical parts of this, as to how and why some of the subtle changes are happening. And some of it has been quite a mystical and beautiful spiritual experience for me. So I look forward to sharing that with the members just because it's more intimate and more personal. But otherwise, I will see you all back tomorrow. Thank you for letting me come back here a little bit terrified. I feel a little rusty and not very comfortable. So thanks for being patient with me. I look forward to being back with you all and sharing this beautiful experience called life with you. I'm so excited to tune into a more sacred road from here on out. That'll give you a little bit of a hint of where we're going. So see you tomorrow. Bye. Mwah. Bye.